Not surprisingly, world leaders are terrified about the forthcoming Donald Trump presidency. And why wouldn't they be? Now, I'm going to address what I call the sissy Europeans retort. This is what I've named the sissy Europeans retort in a little bit. But first, let me tell you a little bit of what different people are saying. Here is Ed Davey, the leader of the UK's Liberal Democrats Party, speaking at the House of Commons. Take a listen.
Mr. Speaker, President-elect Trump praised Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and I quote, he called it genius. He also said he would encourage Russia to do whatever the hell they want to NATO allies. So what action is the Prime Minister taking to encourage a Trump presidency to change its mind? Because otherwise it's a huge threat to global security and to national security in the UK. Does he agree with me that the US will not oppose President Putin and support our brave Ukrainian allies? The UK must lead in Europe so that together we do.
Prime Minister.
The suggestion
Mr. Speaker,
is that we may need new global leadership when it comes to Russia, Ukraine, if indeed things are going in the direction of the United States actually being deferential to Putin under a Trump presidency. Absolutely terrifying. Jagmeet Singh, the leader of Canada's New Democratic Party, also expressing significant concern about Trump.
Canadians woke up today with a lot of folks really worried about Donald Trump's plans, which are going to hurt people. I expect the Prime Minister will come out and state clearly that Donald Trump's plans are wrong. The fact that he has proposed an across-the-board tariff is wrong. That's going to jack up the price of everything. It's going to hurt workers in Canada, and it's going to hurt workers in the United States.
Economic concerns there expressed by Jagmeet Singh. That's in Canada. We've got the UK. We've got Canada. You seeing a theme here? It's our traditional Western Democratic allies that are saying, oh my goodness, this does not sound good. The mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, quoted by NBC News, NBC News writes, Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo said Trump's win was, quote, bad news for the world, democracies, Europe, climate, women, and Ukraine, a country fighting for our freedom. She accused Trump of playing his part in undermining democracy and the rule of law. Her counterpart in London, Mayor Sadiq Khan, who has clashed with Trump, said many Londoners would become, quote, anxious about the outcome of the U.S. presidential election. And, quote, many will be fearful about what it means for democracy and for women's rights, or how the result impacts the situation in the Middle East or the fate of Ukraine, he added. Others will be worried about the future of NATO or tackling the climate crisis. All true. The leader of Ireland's Labour Party, Ivana Bacik, said, quote, devastating U.S. election result. A Trump win spells disaster on so many fronts, for Ukraine, for Gaza, for climate, for women's rights, for migrant rights, and for Europe. The U.S. has made a choice. Now the impact will be felt worldwide. Grim prospects ahead. And there are many other examples. Spain's Deputy Prime Minister, Yolanda Diaz, saying Trump's victory is bad news for everyone who understands politics as the means to improve lives rather than poison them with hate and misinformation. Many other examples. Now, the reaction for many to this is, why do we care what sissy Europeans think? And much of this is based on a zero-sum idea. The idea that anything that's good for the U.S. is bad for all of our allies, or anything that is bad for our allies is good for the U.S. So, of course, they're mad because Trump is going to do so many things that will be great for us and bad for them. Now, of course, this is not how the world works. It's an extraordinarily simplistic and childish view. Put aside for a moment that anything climate related really does not respect country borders. Pollution doesn't. Degradation of natural resources doesn't. The fact that we've drawn imaginary lines on a map doesn't mean that what we do or what they do or what they do doesn't affect each other. It does. But there's a bigger issue here, and it's that it makes the United States a seemingly illegitimate and untrustworthy global partner to have an unhinged lunatic at the helm who will just say, I don't really like this treaty or that agreement or this consortium. Even though we've agreed as a country to participate, we're out. We saw it with Paris climate. We saw it with the Iran nuclear deal. When that happens, we lose credibility. When we lose credibility, if your primary concern is economics, it's bad economically for the United States. When the world is moving ahead on the latest technology, the latest business processes, the latest way to accomplish this, that, or the other thing for the betterment of Homo sapiens, when the U.S. is seen as an untrustworthy partner, and we're just not part of the discussion, as we increasingly weren't towards the end of Donald Trump's first presidency, it hurts the United States economically. It reduces business opportunity. It reduces innovation. So this idea that we're sort of an island, and if it's good for us, it's bad for everybody else, so who cares if they're terrified or upset? It couldn't be more simplistic or not based in fact. It's just not how the world works. And if we actually do think critically, it should be of significant concern that so many of these countries are terrified about what comes next. Here's the thing about birthdays. They happen all year, which means there's probably someone you should be buying a gift for right now. Give them something really special with an Aura digital frame, ranked the #1 digital picture frame by Wirecutter. Aura frames are easy to set up, update, and enjoy. Plus, you can preload your Aura frame with photos and gift messages. So if you're giving the frame to someone, your sister, grandma, your mother-in-law, it's personalized for them and comes preloaded with pictures. I did this with the one I gifted my mom. The best part is it comes with unlimited storage. All you need is the free Aura app and a Wi-Fi connection. Upload as many photos and videos as you want. Year-round, I've gotten a bunch of Aura frames as gifts for people. I always preload it with the pictures I think the recipient will enjoy, and everyone loves it. My favorite part is I keep adding photos to the frames at their houses remotely from my phone when I travel or take a new picture of the baby or whatever. For a limited time, my audience gets $35 off their best-selling frame. Go to auraframes.com and use the code PACMAN. The link is down below.